It is Napgate, okay? I need my beauty sleep. I need my beauty naps. Every Thursday, I must take a nap at least for 45 minutes, or else I will not be happy camper. I will not be able to show up to work fully rested on Friday. Does anyone else feel like that? Does anyone else have that Thursday nap, needing nap? I call it the need a nap theory. It's really unique. It only costs $49.99 to learn how you need nap on Thursday. And I'll teach you all the methods of how to make sure your family knows to give you nap time. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, welcome. Welcome to Scamanda, still scamanding from Ska Prison? Yes, you heard it right. Scamanda, aka Amanda C. Riley, the one, the only. Is she possibly the most flagrant of all of the scammers, the cancer scammers that we've ever talked about? It's a close, and we only talked about Elizabeth Finch for like one episode, like a couple years ago, the Grey's Anatomy writer who was also faking cancer. Her and Amanda C. Riley from this stream that we're going to talk about today, close together, in my opinion, in blatantness and just, what's the word? I don't know, just what the hell-ness of the whole thing. So I'm assuming if you're here, you probably know something already about this case, but we'll do a little recap about the basic details. I'm also at a mega church here, and I just did a Google search, so I don't know who this person is, so I apologize if this is offensive. I don't know who that is, but I wanted to get mega church vibes because that's where a lot of the scamming took place in this story. So we're going to the Bay Area mentally today. And the Bay Area, if you're not familiar, is when you have a significant other and you're in a geographic location together. Okay. I'm going to San Jose, California, where our lovely star of the show, Amanda C. Riley, started it all. Now, we're going to read a lot of court documents. We're going to look at some old videos, but there's not a ton of videos. I searched up and down on using all the tricks and the search engine things that I know how to do to find some of these old interviews. I looked for like maybe, God, how long did I spend on that today? Maybe an hour and a half. Maybe 2 hours on her former church's Vimeo account, looking for videos of Amanda, specifically her talking about her cancer journey. That was not actually a journey at all. But I came up short. So we have some videos, not as many as I would like to show, but we have tons and tons and tons of court records. And we have the blog in which she used to scam her victims. And let's show her. Here is the person I am speaking of. This is Amanda C. Riley. She's got various stages of short hair to represent her going through cancer treatment. Now, everyone knows if you have a pixie cut, you basically just qualify immediately as a cancer survivor, according to the scammers, because they always end up shaving their heads, but only to a pixie cut. They don't go full commitment bald. And it's one of the dead giveaways. Something's not right. So that's red flag number one. If someone seems sketchy to you, their story does not seem to add up, and then they just have a pixie cut and they claim to be going through, chemo, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. All right, but before we get started, thank you to Felicify. Thank you so much from Felicify. And I'll say this to you, Felicify.
Stabbing pain and my eyes went away.
That's not what Scamanda ever said. She's like, the pain is still there. Even to this day, her pain is still there, according to her. And also,
the mango frequency.
That's what we need to get us through today. And thank you to Sahari Monster. Sahari Monster chose a purple cat. Thank you for that, I say.
Her charisma is straight up off the charts.
Hopefully Tara will come visit us. Also, Sahari.
And it's money off of my back.
Ugh, don't you hate that? Money off of your back? Okay, so let's just do the quick little recap. All right. So if you don't know who the heck this is Amanda Riley. She is 39 at this time, current time, I believe. And she is currently an inmate. Okay, she has been punished for her crimes, and we love to see it. That is a rarity. Most of the time, these scammers never face criminal charges. They just sort of slink away into the night, and they delete their, social media pages, and then we never hear from them again. Thankfully, this time, there was some punishment in the court system, which we love. Okay, so she, back in 2012, started to publicly, on a blog that we're going to look at, tell people she had cancer. Of course, it's not just cancer. It's stage 4. It's like the worst cancer you can get. It's always dramatic and, about to be terminal, or is terminal. Gonna be any day now. We're going to be leaving the earth, according to her. So from 2012 to 2019, she stole as much as $100,000 plus from like 300 different people. So that's from online donations. That's from people sending her money, I guess, to the church. Anything. This is only the wire fraud part, because that is the actual crime that she was convicted of, is wire fraud, because she raised this money for her cancer treatment, and turns out she never had cancer. She also got a lot of gift cards. She got a lot of freebies. She got a lot of free stuff and some cash in addition to this $100,000 that she was actually charged for stealing. So you might be here also because you heard the very famous Scamanda podcast that came out on Wondery. No, maybe not Wondery. Lionsgate a while ago. And now there's a new Hulu documentary called Scamanda, which I think is the perfect name. That's the best name for any property that deals with scamming. Scamanda that'll be her nickname from now till the end of time. So she is a wife, a mother, and a Christian who built a national profile by blogging about her struggles with stage 3 blood cancer, lymphoma specifically. And then she got called out, and the IRS got involved, and then she was found out. She is no longer she is still married technically, but her and her current husband are now in the process of divorcing Corey. And there's a lot of unanswered questions about him and his role, because a lot of people, including myself, find it to be hard to believe that her and her husband would not be communicating about said scam, especially when investigators, police are at the door doing raids back in 2016, and then the husband had no idea even later, because she didn't actually go to prison until like 2021. The husband just is so oblivious to her scheming and scamming. I beg to differ. But he has never been charged with anything. So he apparently, there's a whole other part too where, they were trying to go bankrupt because she claimed that she had so many medical bills, and he would obviously have to be a part of that because they are a married couple. So I don't know. It seems like he's also involved. I don't know that for sure. He's never been charged. So in the eyes of the law, he's innocent, but I have my doubts. And the way that they met just is kind of interesting. So not only does she steal money, Amanda may be stealing, steal your man. She met her husband, Corey, when she was 17 and he was 29. And he was already married to another woman named Alita. And Alita had hired Amanda to teach dance and cheer to her daughter, who had leukemia. Okay, that's a little convoluted. But Amanda, a 17-year-old back then, gets hired to teach cheer to a girl, and that girl has leukemia. Okay, fast forward a few years. Now, Amanda is now married to that little girl's dad. We following so far? And also, that little girl had leukemia, which is another blood cancer. So probably, this is my guess, I'm putting my 2 cents into this now. Amanda saw how much probably attention that little girl got, how much care and consideration that little girl got because she was so ill. She probably, because I think she's got a mental illness, I think that's pretty clear. And I'm no psychologist, but I think we can all kind of agree on that. She sought that out for herself. Okay, that's my prediction. Okay, so then Corey and Alita, the original wife, divorced, and he marries Amanda. And then there's a whole custody thing going on. I'm not going to go into the custody thing, but basically there's a whole custody battle for the daughter who had leukemia. With Amanda. That's part of the story. It's kind of important, but all I really want to say about it is there was some court documents, some court stuff with Amanda and Corey trying to get full custody of Corey's daughter. They did get it for a little bit, and they got returned to Alita. All right. And during this whole thing, all of a sudden now Amanda says, "Hey, I have cancer." And now that's going on in addition to having her marriage with this guy, Corey. She's going to church. She's doing all this stuff. And she's got cancer. And she's running a blog of herself. And, which I found out today, she was also running a blog for the church, too. Now, I don't know. I haven't heard people talk about that. But she was running her church's blog. And that's also been pulled down. But I'll show you what that is. Okay, this is going to be kind of wacky. So the church that she attended is called Family Community Church in San Jose. And here is the blog. Okay, FCC Encounter. Encounter is like the church's youth group. It's like your young adult. So I saw some, I think I was watching the documentary yesterday. I think they said in the documentary, it's the youth group is from 13 years old to 37. You can go to this special young adults group. Like what, at 38, you're like a senior citizen or something? Why 37? Such a random number, but I haven't seen it. I only heard that in the documentary. Okay, so here's the, she ran this blog too. So Amanda loves blogging. That's all I need to know. She's like, I have a blog where I raise money for a false, cancer diagnosis. I'm also going to run, here it is, AC Riley. Da-da-da. I'm going to run our church's blog as well. And so she would write nothing crazy, but like set lists of worship songs, what the scripture was, different pictures. She just loved blogging. She's a blog queen. And this is all, I guess, her writing. So I was looking into this quite a bit. And again, this is from her church. So what else was I going to show you from this? There's nothing that amazing on here. Nothing talking about her cancer that I could find. But there was a couple videos from the church. And again, these are not incriminating. These ones, I think they pulled down all the incriminating videos and like scrubbed them. I couldn't find them. But here she is, just to get a little taste of her. This is from 2015, September 11th. 2015, where she's doing a promo for the church. And again, she's got her wink wink cancer bob pixie cut. Here you go.
Saturday, September 12th from 7 to 12 p.m. We need your help with our final stretch of beautifying our campus. Come out and help us before we get the landscaping in.
It's riveting content.
Saturday.
So, but that's where she is. She fit right into the group. There's like tons of these people who are doing little announcements just like this, and they haven't pulled them down yet. So if you want to go look up, 10-year-old garden cleanup ads like I did today, this is your chance. Here's another one. So she was very involved. Here's one about meeting other moms. Meeting other moms. Mops and moms. I don't know. I'm insulted. I'm not a mom. But I would like to have a group that doesn't involve mopping. Okay? I don't know what this is. I'm just joking. It's whether you're a new mom or expecting your first child, you are invited to a place designed for you. A scamming situation just for you. Here's the mops and moms.
Are you a mom? Do you want to get connected with other moms? MOPS registration starts this week. We meet the first and third Wednesdays of every month at 9:30. Hope to see you there.
Moms of preschoolers.
Are you a
Is that offensive? Like, oh, what's something about you? I'm a mop. You're a mother of a preschooler? Yes, that's me. Now this is the video I was looking for. This is this video. I found her video. This is someone else named Ashley, I believe. But in this video with this green background, they play this quite a bit in the documentary where she's talking about my cancer journey. The best day or the worst day of my life was when I was diagnosed with cancer. The second worst day of my life when I was told it was terminal, but I'm really lucky. I'm grateful and lucky to have cancer. Like the sheer amount of, what's the word I'm looking for? Balls to say that in a public forum when you do not have the disease is beyond me. But I find it very common with these people when they fully truly believe that they are righteous in what they're doing, and a lot of these people do, in my opinion, feel totally fine to do what they're doing. They'll say anything, and it's always like, oh, I'm very lucky to have cancer, or I have a positive mindset. Other people give up, but I'm not giving up. And it's infuriating once you find out the truth that you're lying. It's like, how dare you say that? I don't know. And these are other women that gave their testimonies. This was from August 2015. I could not find the video, but that was her photo there, obviously. And then one more from... Oh yeah, I guess this person actually does have, some sort of medical condition. We don't have to play it, but this is the same video series that was featured in the documentary. And I saw someone ask, like, is it worth it? I think so. I think it's worth watching the documentary. If you've already heard the podcast, it's not going to be a bunch of new information at all, but it is cool to see all of it put together, and the interviews are pretty good from like the family members and such, and we're going to read some of those. Well, I have the impact statements from the people who showed up for her sentencing, and we're going to read through that in just a minute. Okay, here's some pictures. Yeah, here's on Reddit. There's a big Reddit community, as there are with all of these scammers and schemes. Here's some pictures from the blog. So you can just get a vibe of what she was sharing here. So she's got the cancer hoodie. She's posing with her haircut. She's got some medical stuff, a vial of medicine. She's at the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. She's got stupid cancer hat with a oxygen tank, I guess, or what do they call it? Noodle, oxygen noodle on. And then she's got a glamour shot. She's got her pageant tree headshot. And then she's got these are from the church as well. They were giving them out. There's something called, they were doing a series, it was called like War with Us. I don't know, I guess that's a religious thing or like a Christian thing. It was like a War with Us series. And so that's why they featured her in 2015 during the War With Us series. And they were, she did her testimony on the stage, and she got a bunch of money during that time. There's Corey, her hubby. similar to Ruby Frankie, there seems to be a trend that I've noticed where women do something, like commit a crime of some kind, and the man is just there. They don't say anything. They don't do anything. They're not helping the victims. They're being ignorant to it all, yet they somehow come out unscathed. I find that very interesting. It seems to be popping up quite a lot as of late, I've noticed. She did a thing, I'm getting to it, I promise, but I'm just kind of trying to get to the basic information. She did a lot of like fundraisers and things. They did a CrossFit fundraiser, which is Lift for Amanda, to raise money. They sold ornaments to raise money. They did eBay auctions to raise money. So this is one of those things that were to raise money. And she's got 2 boys, and then she's got the step bonus daughter, which is the one that had the leukemia, which I think she stole a lot of her information from. Here's a caption that says, "My gotta love chemo face." She's never done chemo. Psh, I got this. Okay, you got what? Nothing. She's on the stage at the church. Here she is on our wedding day. Her and Corey. That's it. Okay, let's look at the blog. So this is part of the Wayback Machine. And she is talking about mostly trying to get donations. Let's be real. This is what she's really here for. She wants to get donations. You can support Amanda. And it says, created by Amanda's brothers. I haven't heard about the brothers. I don't know if they don't make an appearance in the documentary, as far as I remember. But that's who started this page, which I think is bullshit. I think Amanda started the page, ran the page, did the page. The family, her mother and father didn't seem to be involved. Well, there is some question as to whether the mother was involved in the scam that she knew, but they weren't involved in helping her actually do this, as far as we know. Okay, so here is a blog post from Friday, July 24th, 2015. And this is a video, again, could not find it, but this is a video that the church, the family community church in San Jose put together, which is, it's a running joke in my own head that like every scammer loves Fight Song. Because all the ones that I've ever covered and done stuff with, they always have like several lip sync TikToks of, "This is my fight song, take back my life." And I know people love it, and it's not a bad song, it's a good song, but it's like so overused at this point. And so much so in the scammer community that it's like, okay, let's get a new fight song. Let's find a new round 2 song. Because I've had enough. I've had my fill of the fight song. And like every Ellen episode, I feel like the fight song came on. Like I think we need to move forward as a society from fight song. But I know, people love it, but I'm over it. Okay, so here she is in the hospital. She's got little pictures of herself. Again, just suspiciously short, but not bald head. Here's what the blog said. An indescribable thank you to everyone who participated, and this is in making the fight song video. Originally, we planned to release paper lanterns to finish the footage. We did lots of research, practice runs, and even involved fire department for safety precautions, and just decided it was ultimately not safe no matter which angle we tried. We wanted this to be memorable, but not memorable for setting San Jose on fire during possibly the worst drought in its history. Okay. We did the hashtag Team Amanda signs you see as an alternate, which is this. People in the community holding a sign that says Team Amanda. We are hoping and praying that we would get 10 people willing to go in front of a camera in support of me. Okay. I hoped that 10 people would go suffer and take a picture of themselves. We ended up with 92 photos. 92 photos! We wanted to pay honor to everyone who took time out of their lives to show me support. But how are we going to get 92 photos in the last 60 seconds with the final shots as well? Like, what is this? This blog is like, the ups and downs of directing a fake cancer video. Oh, we wanted to do lightning lanterns, but it could have caught a fire. And then we had to fit editing into the end, and it's like, stay on task. Hats off to Miss Gaska on the creative and wonderful solution. We wish we could have shown every single photo, but we had to limit it one per family to make this doable. I feel so honored, blessed, and supported because of you. Thank you. Hope this video represents a thank you to every person who donated to keep us in our house, help with preschool costs, get medical bills paid, help me achieve bucket list items. They all got bucket lists and Amazon lists. Prayed for us, brought food a lot, watched the kids, and just for giving your attention and presence. Giving your attention, I think she meant to say presence, like P-R-E, presence, E-N-C-E. Oh God, whatever the other presence is, not this one. But Freudian slip, she wants the presence. Okay, you really learn who's there for you when you have nothing else to give. Although it hurt, when some friends and even family haven't really shown support. Okay, this is part of in the documentary, they attribute this to some people were already catching on to her by this point. And the one woman who was the original tipster, the whistleblower who contacted the journalist, raising suspicion about this whole story, had already started to catch on by this point and actually disliked the video on YouTube of the fight song. And this is what that woman thinks is a response to this paragraph. And it's always like, I see this a lot too with people who are dealing with, they have fake cancer, right? Or most likely they are faking it on the internet. They all have these mysterious haters and these mysterious people in their life that ignore them and cast them out. It's like, how common is that in reality to be diagnosed with a life, terminal illness and to be hated on for that? Like, I never experienced seeing this in real life. Only with scammers does this situation pop up, where there's this like elusive group of people who are doubting them and are just out to get them, or aren't showing enough support. It's not a real narrative unless you're faking it, because people, I think, are catching on and are treating them appropriately. Anyways, let me read it again. You really learn who's there for you when you have nothing else to give. Although it hurt when some friends and even family haven't really shown support. The amount of people following and back my story is something I couldn't have even fathomed before cancer. Thank you. You are Team Amanda. Who needs to back your story if you're not lying? But okay. Ever wonder where Team Amanda started? Besides me having cancer, of course, check your bracelets. Thanks, Dad. Okay. And there she is, just hanging out at the beach. Absolutely have to acknowledge Christy Gaska. I'm honored to do life with you. To not only volunteer to take on the video, but to direct and film, and then spend countless hours editing. I can't wait to watch your life unfold because you have amazing things ahead of you. And here's some Team Amanda people holding the signs. There's a dog holding the signs. And that's it. There you go. And yeah, this is from the blog spot. Okay, so that's one edition. That was in 2015. This is like someone took some of it and reposted it on their own blogs, just I guess to make it more simple. I hate I like Wayback Machine because at least lets you see it, but it becomes very confusing very quickly. But this is from December 15th, 2015. Okay, this is where she's, I got this picture came from. And thank you to Asari Shepherd. Thank you so much. And for that, Asari Shepherd said, the hate is because we know they're faking fakers. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm so sorry you lost.
I'm so sorry that you have haters for having cancer. That's a very believable story that everyone will believe for sure, because that happens all the time. There's this one woman, it was never confirmed. There's a video about it right now on my channel where I talked about whether I thought this person was faking For the record, I did think she was faking, but there was no lawsuit. There was no criminal charges. So it was hard for me to say, like, yes, this person is, because obviously I had no proof of that, but I could give my opinion about it, just some red flags that I saw. And it was this woman who was like smoking on camera. Same thing with the hair. Like, she had eyebrows, she had eyelashes, but she didn't have hair on her head. So I thought that was a little odd. And a couple other things she said. She wouldn't say what kind of cancer she had. She was very vague about it. She always talked about how much she needed money. And then one day she told a story that went viral, and she said, I was at the gas station and someone like spit on me because of I have cancer and I have a bald head and they just hate me for it. And I was like, what? When would that actually happen? That seems so unlikely. And she was crying and she was like, I feel so like bad and I'm struggling and I need money, and this man spit at me at the gas station because I have cancer and they just hate me for it. I'm like, this doesn't sound real. Anyways, she miraculously recovered and she's moved on to other things now. But anyways, I think that's a commonality I found, where it's like they're faking or they take people who are accusing them of faking and they turn it into this other story to garner sympathy. Anyways, a sorry shower, thank you again. And for that, I also say this.
It's not $5,000. It's not $2,000. It's not $10,000. It's a lot of money
that they steal. Okay, here we go. Completed all my testing for the spike. See last post. And doing the testing, we got some unexpected red flags. Some major pulmonary issues are popping back up, requiring me to be put back on oxygen, breathing treatments, inhalers, and steroids. Thought I was finally free of those bastards. Crossed out. We go to Big Bear with my parents and siblings for Christmas and had a scare that with the altitude and my issues, I wouldn't be able to go. It's okay though, and the hospital has been amazing. Even with the holidays here, they were able to get all the referrals, testing, and prescriptions rushed, and my new portable OT machine and detection sensor to monitor my own oxygen levels arrives tomorrow. Can't wait to get that bill. Okay, so she's reminding you. Can't wait to get that bill and have you guys pay for it. Okay, I don't know what the heck this is. She takes a close-up picture of the machine. Does anyone know what this is? Some sort of breathing apparatus? There's like some air. There's a little breathe sign. Seems legit, I guess. I don't know. The good news, my heart and brain, considering the amount of toxicity, are kicking butt with no issues, and my kidney and liver testing levels and counts are finally not in the danger zone anymore. They're doing a little better. My organs will never be perfect again, but I can live with functioning. Okay, again, all of this is made up. As far as whether this immunotherapy worked enough to get my spike to stay on treatment, I won't know until at least Tuesday, hoping and praying for answers before Christmas. It's definitely stressful knowing that it's either not working and I'm about to spend my last Christmas with my husband, the drama, kids and family, or I'll be partying like a rock star, a really well-behaved goody-goody rock star celebrating victory. We just stay positive and enjoy time together. I have really enjoyed all the rain this week, though. You guys, let it rain. What? So she's really laying it on thick. She's like, either I'm gonna die and this is the last Christmas with my children and husband, or party time. Donate to find out what happens next. The waiting hasn't been all bad. Aside from mommy, wife, church stuff, I've been enjoying my job so much. I love celebrating fundraising victories with retail partners. That sounds like the most corporate thing. I love scamming. I love celebrating fundraising victories with retail partners. One of our retail partners blew their goals out of the water and broke records. I was like a proud mama hen. Working and love it. So not only is she a mom, a wife, a cancer survivor / patient going through, You know, whether she's going to have Christmas or not, she's also working, seemingly full time. Shocking. Wow, they can really do it all. I've also been working fervently on everyone's ornaments. So not only, again, artist, added to the list. Her job at this time was substitute teacher, I believe. She then became a principal later, but I'm pretty sure she was a teacher of some kind back in 2015. Thankful that has been overly distracting in my already chaotic life. I've really enjoyed making each and every one for you guys, but I'm not going to lie. I have 14 left, and then I will never make an ornament again. The drama with this writing is funny. I have to give thanks to some incredible human beings. In my last post, I mentioned Angie reached out through a mutual friend and donated her entire $730 commissions check for the month. I wondered if this was an MLM thing. That just crossed my mind when I saw this. Like, so a mutual friend donated her commissions check. I'm like, commissions from what? Monate? Herbalife? It could just be a regular jobs commissions check, but I just, the commissions thing, I'm like, maybe this is like her Mary Kay commissions check. Either way, it's still her money, but it crossed my mind. Through her, Betty Ann's bag reached out to her wanting to help, and they sent us a wonderful card with dozens of gift cards people donated. People we have never met in our life. It still blows my mind the generosity of our family and friends, especially through church. But when complete strangers want to help, I can't even explain the emotions. What joy! She's got See's Candy, Amazon, Fandango, I don't know what this one is, Target, Toys R Us, AMC, Home Depot, Safeway, Starbucks, Betty Ann's bag, whatever that is, Bed Bath & Beyond, and another Toys R Us. So all that stuff that she got, those were not part of the criminal case. All of that. If you want to be taken advantage of and not get your restitution, give scammers gift cards. That's why all the scammers want gift cards, because it's much harder to get your money back it's like they just basically call it a wash and go, well, she got like $1 million of gift cards. There's nothing we can do. The wire fraud happened because she was accepting cold hard cash via the wires. So if you aren't sure that someone's scamming, give them digital currency. Do the PayPal transaction. And then if they do turn out to be scammers, you may receive your money back. Unlikely, but it's a better chance than if you give them airline miles or, gift cards. You're never going to get your money back. Then this past week, I spoke at Encounter about victories. Okay, Encounter is the young adult thing at the church. It's truly a privilege and an honor to serve. I'm so thankful for Pastor Chase and the leadership team. They're not friends, they're family. Wrong there. I didn't even know it was possible to do life like this. These people are the most incredible human beings I've ever had the privilege to meet. That says a lot because I have met some amazing people. Pastor Chase pushes us to stretch even when we don't want to, even if I'm not so comfortable. I feel like I am getting a wee bit better at the public speaking thing though. Only like 100 ums this time. LOL. And then that's picture. Oops. You just got to see it from here. There's a picture of her in the middle, of course, star. And the guy on the side, that's the pastor, I believe, Pastor Chase. He's pretty young to be leading the church or leading the youth, I guess, the youth part. But that's the guy who did the interview with her, which is right here, her giving her testimony. Love doing life with these leaders. Yes, that's our pastor and fearless leader busting our Spider-Man. I'm assuming she meant busting out Spider-Man. He's that awesome. Okay, another variation of the short haircut. Hey, mama. Hey, y'all. Hey, mama bears. I have a testimony for you. And she's not from the South, but she gives the South vibes. After sharing testimony with 3 other inspiring speakers, the same amazing group that came caroling and brought Christmas to our door last year approached me with cards, gift cards, and money. We are so grateful for all of it. Yeah, I'm sure you are. This year, they went a step further. Amber had asked me what we needed. I mentioned the only thing we needed was each other. And $100,000 would be nice, too. Okay. We don't need stuff. We just want more time together. So any things we can take the kids to or experience together is the best kind of happiness. Okay. They really listened to that and gifted us so many fun new adventures to embark on. We got movie passes, a spa day, golfing, Billy Bees, not sure what that is, date nights, ice skating, Vasana lights, don't know what that is. The list goes on and on. The opportunity to have memories and experiences with each other, friends and family is the most special thing to us right now. And we are so truly grateful and humbled once again by God's goodness and your generosity. So all they want is to spend time together, but spend time together spending money on activities. They don't want to go for a walk in the park. They want to do ice skating and a spa day. That's two different things, in my opinion. A special shout out to Lindsay, who maxed out her platelet donation this year in my honor. You go, girl. You're helping so many people, and I feel pretty special you do it for me. Okay. Lindsay, right? Okay, here's more gift cards, more cash. Okay, the cash, that's gone. She gets to keep the cash. Again, if you think someone's scamming, don't give them cash. And here's some Christmas cards. Yeah, and hold on to Lindsay in your head. We're going to hear from her victim statement in just a second. We're already starting the parties. We used our sushi gift card. The kids loved it. Tomorrow, Carter is going on a mommy date to see The Good Dinosaur. Okay, she shows her kids. Let's skip past that. Through the mass unexpected amount ornaments sold and generosity of others that took our excessive bills off our plate this month, again, she might have bills for fake hospital visits, but she has no actual cancer treatment bills. Just keep that in mind again. We were able to contribute items to the homeless ministry some of our awesome friends are hosting on Christmas through our young adults at church. We also donated to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. This really meant a lot to us because we love teaching our kids to have kind hearts and be givers. That's what you taught your kids? Okay. I think the lesson was a little convoluted at this point. It's hard to teach giving when you have nothing to give. Well, that's true. Other than lies, a good performance. You are a good actor for sure. So it felt really good, and we were so overjoyed to actually be able to help others this Christmas as well. It wasn't much, but you do what you can, right? See, you guys are the gift that keeps giving. Gotta thank Candace again for so selflessly setting up meals twice a week, every week. It's so amazing to just know twice a week I get to come home from work/doctors, she don't go to the doctors, to enjoy my kids and not play chef. You're the best. So what she's saying is she has cancer, she's got a job, and this woman, Candace, cooks for her twice a week. The other 5 days, she has to be the chef. Where's your husband at? I would be asking retroactively about this. Before I continue, thank you too. Sorry Shepherd said, so they want free stuff. Barf. Where's my unicorn? Yeah, she's very much highlighting the gifts are the best. I love the money everyone's given me. That's been my favorite thing.
I began to purge.
People want their news from flawless, beautiful faces.
Do you see things the way I do, or do you see them wrongly?
That's for you. Sorry, Shepherd. Okay. Now here, I have not read this part yet. This is a kicker, she calls it, which is always the best part of any story. Here we go. Now for the kicker. Something completely baffling happened on my last plane ride home from New York. I didn't share right away because I wanted to share it in my testimony first. So the testimony she's talking about is in church, where you go and give a speech about your dedication and belief in God. Now that I did, I can scream it from the rooftops. When I left, I had a lot on my mind. Would the piggyback treatment work? What does this mean? How do I tell Corey and my family? Then I was stressing about the cost of moving treatments from every other week to every week. When I ride on planes, I tend to freak people out with wearing a mask or looking half dead, so I try to break the ice with whomever sits with me. I immediately bonded with the nice lady next to me, who I quickly found out was in the last 6 months of her medical school residency. Okay, so she's like, can you give me some tips on how to look and sound more believable? She was a doctor in West Virginia. We shared life stories, experiences, and laughs. Then, after a really long flight and a short nap, we arrived in San Jose. Upon leaving the plane, she gave me a little folded piece of paper and wished me a Merry Christmas. As I exited the plane, I opened it, curious what this perfect stranger just gave me. A phone number? Facebook link? It was a blank check for $1,300. Okay. That doesn't make sense. A blank check would be no amount of money. A blank check for $1,300. It wouldn't be a blank check then. Okay. It was a blank check for $1,300. What? Who does that? She didn't even know my first name. I, of course, ran to baggage claim trying to track her down. Yeah. First of all, I don't believe the story. I think it's a way to tell people, like, wink, wink, nod, nod. If you want to be, like, praised in my blog, give me money. Because money is what I cherish. Money is my true God. I told her I had to ask. I luckily found her and thanked her for being such a good person. If that's not divine intervention, okay. She ran to baggage claim to track her down. I luckily found her and thanked her for being such a good person. I told her I had to ask why. She told me my story really inspired her, and she just knew she should. If that's not divine intervention, the crazy part is I'm pretty sure I just told her my treatments were expensive. I didn't tell her what they cost. So the fact that $1,300 is the amount put on her heart, which is the same cost as one of my treatments, just gave me chills. I, of course, was bawling at the airport and walked outside to pouring rain. I hope the doctors keep telling me a cure is more rare than rain in California. Sure been raining a lot lately. Okay, this is another thing I find with these scamming people is that they create a narrative, sometimes at least, with doctors. That doctors tell me that I can't be cured. And they create this like us versus them, like us, the believers, the supporters, the Team Amandas versus the mean old dirty doctors who charge lots of money and don't have faith in me that I can survive. This is already setting up, I feel like, that dynamic, which is like the doctors are telling me a cure is more rare than rain in California. So setting it up as like they're not optimistic like you. If you give me $1,300, then that is all the miracles that I need and we'll prove them wrong together. So this is, I guess, the poor woman who gave her money, allegedly. And it's like, okay, if this really happened, which I don't know, let's say it did happen, I'm sure she complained and said, oh, my treatments are so expensive. She knew that the best thing to give this woman is money. So I'm sure she conveyed that somehow. And she's wearing the hoodie to make it like more obvious she's got this, disease. I don't know. Oh yeah, here's the proof. $1,300. And it's like so random that she would just $1,300. Like if you're just gonna give a person a random amount of money, wouldn't you give them $1,500? Why $1,300? Because it was on her heart. God told her it was on her heart. She knew it was the exact amount of the treatment. Anyways, even in the midst of stress and anxiety, I have such a sense of peace and grace, seeing what surrounds our family. Thank you and Merry Christmas. So that's a little insight into the kind of writing that she did, the kind of drama this woman likes to display publicly, the narcissism that she has to show her fighting for something that is completely false and fake. Here's another image. This is the one, if you've seen the documentary, this is the part of the interview that they showed a lot where she's talking about like, wouldn't it be a shame if Jesus gave you your miracle and you weren't paying attention? Mic drop, homie. This is from that. So that's still, the video's not available, unfortunately.
Mic drop, homie.
But this is the moment. This is the kind of stuff she was doing on stage. And it says, don't stop talking to Jesus. That was her quote. How great was tonight's service? God is so good. Thank you, Amanda, for sharing your testimony and for reminding us that our lives are ultimately a testimony for Jesus. And this is her video. Not that exciting, of people time lapse walking around. And yeah, here's another one. This was on October 2015. Tonight at 7 p.m. during Encounter, we have the honor and privilege of hearing a scammer tell their lies. Okay. Of hearing Amanda's story and how that directly connects with the power of prayer. When we war together, God shows up. Team Amanda. This is from her music video. And there's like quite a lot of promotion for this woman in the church. Now, to be fair, this church has like a lot of congregants. It's pretty large, but quite a lot, I think, for one, Facebook page to be on it several times. She was not hiding, just like, oh, I have cancer, I don't want to make a big deal about it. She was front and center, baby. And this is a CrossFit event. So she did the ornaments, the eBay. She did, the website. She had a lot of different fundraising operations. And this is called Lift for Amanda from CrossFit FCC. It was with Kern Strength and Fitness. You could go for free and help raise funds. And at 10 a.m., it was a warm-up. 11 a.m., lift-off. 11:45, Faith Prescription WAD. 12:30, Amanda shares her story. Opportunity to donate, if so led. And she highly recommends that you're led to donate. Warm-up, and then Amanda WAD. And WAD is like workout of the day for CrossFit. So, yeah. And then here is the blog that she was in charge of. It says, love Encounter, but missed a Tuesday? Don't worry. Check out our new blog written by Amanda C. Riley and get the lowdown on what happened to Encounter and review sermon notes and announcements. And there she is with the little top hat in the middle. So that's just a little bit of extra context about the church goings. But remember I said Lindsay? Lindsay was the one that was donating the platelets every month or every week or however long. So she gave her, we're going to read this one too, but she gave her victim statement. So I want to read that. I want to read her victim statement. And then we'll talk about what she's doing in prison to try to get out early. She wants to get out early, but the judge said no. The judge said, go back to your cell because you're lying. And we don't believe you. We don't believe what you're saying. Okay, here it is. So this is the day of sentencing. This is the date. Let's see. The date was this took a long time. She stopped scamming in 2019, at least for the wire fraud in 2019. It started in 2012. This is May 3rd, 2022. Okay, so it took, the wheels of justice turned slowly. So this is, she's pled guilty. She's accepting that she caused this. She's admitting to it. She gave a statement which she said she knowingly and willingly lied to get money pretending to have lymphoma. So that was part of the plea deal. So they're going to give a sentence. The judge is going to give her a sentence. And before the judge does that, they let the victims give their statements. So there's 4 people that came to the court to give their statements in the court of law. Okay. So, and just for this crime, the guidelines were sentencing was 12 to 18 months in prison, supervised release, so probation of 1 to 3 years afterwards, a fine between $5,500 and $55,000 with a special assessment of $100, restitution and forfeiture. So she has to pay back her victims as well, which I think totals, like I said, up to more than $100,000. Okay, so here's the first person. This is Lindsay Wilder. Okay, she was the first one to speak. Here we go. And this is her speaking directly to Amanda in court. Amanda, I first met you in a church where you were a beloved member. You were the poor, young Christian woman that was fighting a battle undeserved. For a friend dying of cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, terminal, I couldn't do much, but I could pour my blood out for you. I have over 30 pictures of me holding my prized Team Amanda magnet. Each week in 2015, I would travel to the Red Cross in San Jose hoping to donate platelets. I maxed out my donations by October. Every time I took a picture, it was for you. The Red Cross knew I was doing this for my sweet friend. My sweet, sweet friend. A beautiful, honest, transparent, kind soul. A mother of 2 young boys that would soon be gone. We prayed for you every Tuesday. There were candlelight vigils, auctions, fundraisers, donations of bucket list experiences, giving you as much love and care as we could for a mom who wouldn't get to see her children graduate from high school. I treasured the things you gave me, thinking it would be soon all that's left of you. I went to bed each night praying for your miracle. As a lifelong atheist, the first time I prayed to God was for you. You stole so many tears, tears from people you didn't know, and tears from people you did know. In the times you took the stage at church in front of your God, you said miracle, you said terminal, you said cancer, miracle, terminal, Jesus, miracle, Jesus, terminal. We all called you anointed. I remember feeling in awe of your strength when you said that the chemo made each morning so unbearably painful that the only way you could move was to take a hot shower. When I met you, your hair was just starting to grow back. At every stage, it's just growing back. Red flag. Okay. Yet you seem so bright, so resilient. Of course, there were the monetary donations, the exploitation of hundreds of generous people's wallets and emotions. Your last chance at life ended up being a vacation to New York. I found out about this lawsuit through a victim's notification from the Department of Justice. I still believed you. When you called to explain the mix-up, I still believed you. Not 2 months earlier, I laid in my own hospital bed. Allegedly, you were in the hospital too. You had been transferred to a special hospital where they were more able to help you. After all, you were dying of cancer, with the added complication of pulmonary embolisms. They never just leave it at stage 2.5 cancer and just let it ride for a while. No, it's stage 4. It's always terminal. It's a miracle that gets healed. You get pregnant during it. Then it's back again. Oh, and it's not just that. It's also pulmonary embolisms. And it's not just that. I also have a twin sister who's trying to kill me. It's like a soap opera. I pulled my strength from you. Ironically, pulmonary embolisms almost took my life, and I wondered how you survived it all. I attended the hearing where you pled guilty. I spent little time being angry. I spent almost no time wishing for my money back. What I did feel was a slimy disgust, a repulsion that can only be felt from the thought of creating such an elaborate scheme. Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. Like, that's just, it's the vulnerability that you feel for someone, that you can trust someone, and it's like the gaslighting that you've gone through, that you're like, I can never trust a person again if I've been tricked this badly, I think is probably the thought that goes through people's minds. I spent a week wondering if anybody is who they say they are. Exactly. Like, she's questioning her entire reality when something like this happens. I feel sad. Sad for the people I cried with. Sad for the people who bent over backwards to give you a special last Christmas with your miracle children. One who was allegedly born during the brunt of your cancer. We called him a miracle. He still is a miracle. I remember a church service where you stood on stage and the congregation threw money at your feet. And I can't help but think that is the most perfect metaphor. Restitution is so little. I would have poured my blood out anyways. This is a pretty good statement for court. I will say, this is like well written. It's like a monologue. I was a platelet donor long before I met you, but now knowing your entire story is fake, that there were no meds, was no last chance trial, no couple months to live, I know now the blood wasn't for you. Amanda, I don't wish bad on you. I imagine you are suffering enough. I don't want money. I want my tears back. I want my prayers back. And in this, I do want justice. Thank you for listening. Damn, son.
Mic drop, homie.
Good for you, Lindsay. Okay. That was Lindsay. So she was the church congregant friend and platelet donator that was upset. Okay. This is Alita. So Alita, this is the Corey's ex-wife. There's a lot of drama, like I said, tied up into it. I don't really want to go into that. I feel like it's a little complicated to explain and I don't have like video for it. But just know they dragged this woman through the mud in the courts with the custody hearing. They made her look like a unfit mother. This mother actually dealt with her daughter actually having cancer, was like a caretaker for her daughter who had leukemia. So the fact that now she's having her moment in court is like, she deserves to tell this woman to fuck off so badly. So this is Alita. Okay. I'm Jessa Riley's mother, Amanda's stepdaughter. Okay, let me see. Who is this? So that is her. And then it's her husband, her new husband too, David, came to the court together. And says, I did not want to write this at first due to the emotions and anger it rehashes. The truth is, unless you were there to see exactly what myself and my family went through, it will never be fully understood. I will do my best to explain the unrelenting harassment and manipulation that myself and my family suffered through as a direct result of Amanda Riley's lies. My daughter Jamie, who is my daughter from my first marriage, was diagnosed with acute lymphocytic leukemia in September of 2002. She was unable to be out in public or attend school because she was immunocompromised. Therefore, my husband at the time, Corey Riley, and myself did our best to accommodate Jamie's needs from home. One of the things we did was hire Amanda Riley to come into our home and teach Jamie cheerleading. This is how our family met 17-year-old Amanda Riley. A few years later, Corey and I divorced. We shared our daughter, Jessa. Amanda Riley reappeared in our lives and married my ex-husband, Corey Riley. Amanda was a big part of Jessa's life because we had shared custody. Co-parenting can be tricky and adding a stepmom to the mix even more difficult, but we managed it for a bit and then things changed. Gosh, can't read. Amanda announced she was terminally ill with cancer. I felt awful for what was ahead. As someone that cared for a child with cancer, I knew the road ahead would be filled with ups and downs for them, as well as for my daughter Jessa, who was part of her dad's and Amanda's life. Cancer can be cruel and exhausting, and I knew how to try to put differences aside. I tried really hard to keep in mind what they were dealing with and how our daughter Jessa would bear during it all. It didn't take long to see how Amanda and Corey used her cancer diagnosis to manipulate everyone around them from very early on. It became clear that her terminal diagnosis was affecting every aspect of us trying to co-parent. The claims of financial hardship due to her medical expenses were constant. Excuses for anything that was not carried out were blamed on her cancer and his need to care for her. So, we can't afford this for this custody, like for our kids, it's because of the cancer. Where did the actual money go? Because these people were working. Where did all the money go? That they need so much money from people. Like, they weren't living in mansions and stuff and driving Lambos. Like, where is all the money? I do wonder that. Anyways. This was so difficult because I believed Amanda Riley was dying of cancer, but felt like they used her diagnosis to manipulate and take advantage when it came to co-parenting and Corey's financial obligations as Jess's father. I was always presented to the courts by Corey's attorney, as the difficult ex-wife, the uncaring bitch that was trying to make Corey's life hell while his wife was dying of cancer. The angel wife. Any chance to showcase Amanda's cancer was in full force. She would come to the court with a shaved head. They would provide medical bills to prove financial hardship. Okay, those are forged, turns out. They would change court dates due to cancer treatments and appointments. Anything that could be manipulated was, and it cost me thousands of dollars over the years. The financial hardships the court allotted to my ex due to Amanda Riley's cancer expenses diminished any financial support my daughter received, and in some instances resulted in me having to pay child support to him. That's crazy. Oh my God. That's evil to the max. Like, evil behavior. Family court judges were constantly hearing how his wife was dying from cancer, and yet they were presenting themselves to the court as the perfect parents for Jessa, and I was the one making things difficult and being selfish. Jessa's family court-appointed attorney, Sheila Peterson, who would never listen to my concerns about Jessa. She was only interested in making my ex and his dying wife, making sure they were accommodated above and beyond, again costing me thousands of dollars, and not to mention the physical and mental toll on my well-being. Things were hard enough when I was under the assumption that she was truly sick with terminal cancer. But then everything changed when I learned of the investigation of Amanda Riley and her sickening lie that she did not have cancer at all. She was lying, and I immediately thought of my daughter and how this was going to affect her. Yeah, these kids are going to be screwed up, unfortunately, and they need to get into therapy ASAP. Now, we know the documents submitted to family court regarding Amanda's cancer treatment expenses were all a lie, and just how much manipulation went on at my expense and my daughter's expense, again, costing thousands of dollars, and child support and attorney fees that could have gone towards raising my daughter. Yeah, exactly. What a waste. I let the court, the attorneys, justice counselor, and anyone who would listen know about the investigation into Amanda Riley. And well, it got worse. No one believed me. And somehow now I was the bad parent because I was not going along with the narrative everyone had fallen prey to. I became the one who said it out loud. This woman does not have cancer. She is faking cancer. The courts, doctors, teachers, parents of my daughter's friends, coaches, counselors, etc. all assumed that I was making this up and spreading horrible lies, which all had a direct effect on co-parenting in one way or another. I lost custody of Jessa for a brief time. I had to pay thousands in child support and attorney fees because my ex-husband's attorney neglected to check the authenticity of the medical documents she submitted to family court. No one would contact the investigators, regardless of me providing the information to do so. The family court system and those involved failed my entire family miserably because everyone believed Amanda Riley was terminally ill of cancer. Everything my daughter did as a family with her father centered around Amanda Riley's cancer. Fundraisers, cancer events, free sporting events, free childcare, free meals, free gifts, free gymnastics lessons, tennis lessons, and on and on. My daughter had been participating in a wealth of generous events and gifts given by a community that had been lied to. This had been going on for years, and all that time my daughter believed that her stepmom was dying. Amanda Riley would tell my daughter she had a few months to live. And then a miracle. She was in remission, and then again dying, and then remission, and on and on. The toll that takes on a child and the damage caused is immeasurable. My daughter was so distraught over the years, not knowing what each day would bring for her and her younger brothers. All I could do was assure her that her stepdad, Dave, and I were always going to be there for her. The daily joys in life that as a mom you take for granted were taken from me. I was the outcast that had said it out loud. Amanda Riley does not have cancer. That is all Amanda Riley needed to hear to continue to have me ostracized in all social events involving my daughter. This woman is very strong because I saw her in the documentary as well, and she gave her interview. She's very well put together and seemingly normal. So I'm so glad she had this moment in court and that she was justified to the max, because I cannot imagine what this woman's rage must feel like. I was unable to enjoy Jessa's soccer games, gymnastics, school events, anything that interacted with other parents because of Amanda Riley. As Jessa got older, she started to realize that things didn't add up. She would see medical equipment hidden around the house. She would ask her father why he never went to chemo treatments with Amanda, why Amanda would tell someone how sick in bed she was, but yet Jessa knew she wasn't. She was a little girl trying to get answers, but instead she would get in trouble for asking questions. How Amanda Riley could do this to a young girl is beyond disgusting. It's abusive. It was truly a nightmare, and it has never stopped. It went on from 2012 until now, 8 years, and is still going on. Jessa is 19 years old, married, and leading her own life now. And to this day, when she asks Amanda or her father about the charges, court hearings, or anything about what's going on, she is told by both of them, things aren't as they seem. Okay, that's a commonality too. They're like, the truth will come out one day. When I'm ready to tell my story, everything will be explained. And they just push it off and say, this is a huge conspiracy, and one day I will reveal all. And it's like, okay, keeping up the ruse. It is sad, and my dad is heartbroken. It is sad, and my daughter is heartbroken. Amanda Riley's cancer lies, constant need for attention, and greed was all that mattered to her. She desperately tried to ruin my reputation and tried to ruin the relationship between me and my daughter. She wanted me left with nothing. It was like I was a target she had to destroy. Yeah, I agree. That is how it seems. I lost crucial years with my daughter. I can't get back that time. I can't fix what Amanda did to myself or my daughter, but I can leave it in the past, and that's what I'm hoping to do. It is my hope, Your Honor, that you'll sentence Amanda to substantial time in prison so that she can realize she did this, what she did to so many people, and that there will be justice for what my daughter and our family have been through over 8 years. This cancer scam affected myself, my husband, my parents, and more importantly, all 3 of my children in one way or the other. The cancer scam that Amanda and my ex-husband carried out. So she's saying it herself that it was Corey involved too, which again, sounds about right given kind of all of the evidence. How could you be so blind? You would be willingly negligent in not knowing about this at this point. But again, he wasn't charged. It's hard to prove things in court. And thank you to Angela Arnold. Angela Arnold says, 3 people have gifted memberships. Thanks to them. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the memberships and the memories.
You do not need glasses.
Just keep that in mind. Also,
oh, this is really good for me.
Had her laptop out.
did you have your laptop out?
What do I need to believe about this so that it serves me?
That's Amanda Relly's 2 cents. Thank you, Angela Arnold. And thank you for whoever gifted the memberships. I appreciate it. Woo! Thank you. Oh, Starry Nights. Thank you, Starry Nights. You the best. Okay. The cancer scam that Amanda and my ex-husband carried out destroyed the relationship between my daughter and them, and for now it is something that is left unresolved, and that in itself is the worst part of all. Thank you. All right. Woo! Great statement. Okay. And then we got Jessa. So Jessa is the 19-year-old daughter of, what's her name? How do you pronounce her name again? Who we just heard from. Alita. So Jessa is Alita's daughter. Yes. Okay, so now she's going to give her statement. All right, then we got one more after that. And then we'll talk about the big juicy detail, which is from prison, she's trying to scam. But I want to get through this stuff because this is actually really interesting. Okay. This is Jessa. Amanda Riley has been part of my life since I was 6 months old. She came into our lives when she agreed to teach my older sister, Jamie. So Jamie's the one that had leukemia. Sorry, I think I messed it up in the beginning. So Jessa is the younger sister of Jamie, but Jamie's the one who had leukemia that Amanda was hired to teach cheerleading. There you go. Okay, cheerleading at home while she was sick with leukemia. When I was 7 years old, she became an even bigger part of my life as my father's new girlfriend. I grew up extremely close with her, and when I was 10 years old, my life as a family was turned upside down when she told me she was sick. She told me she had cancer. I remember being terrified as she and my father told me she wouldn't be around much longer. It's abusive. That is abusive when you know that it's not true. She began going to her treatments and seemed to fall ill all the time. One day after school, she picked me up and had a beanie on and told me her hair began falling out, so she shaved it off. I remember visiting when she asked me excitedly if I wanted to see. I remember being taken aback because I figured it would be a sore subject. She pulled off her beanie and gladly showed me her shaved head. At this time, I was just a child and believed she was sick. She is sick, but not with cancer. As years went by, her support grew rapidly. She created supportamanda.com. Many people heard her story and wanted to help. The donations began flowing in online. Around this time, my father and Amanda gained full custody of me, and I was front and center with them in their fight for Amanda's life. Over the 1.5 years that they had full custody of me, things began to seem odd. Amanda was always sick, never being able to get out of bed, but I would never see her go to appointments. She had always looked healthy. I noticed she would starve herself until she would pass out. The one event that changed my whole perspective was when I was cleaning up my little brother's playroom and I found an IV wrapped in saran wrap. Very weird detail. I brought it to her and asked why she had it and why it was in my little brother's playroom. She quickly took it from me and said my little brother took it out of her nightstand. I knew better than to question her, and she would regularly lash out at me. Soon after this event, I began having visitation with my mom. I mentioned what had happened with Amanda's IV and all the other things that seemed odd. She broke down and told me that there was an investigation on Amanda and that she did not in fact have cancer. I was so shocked at this point. I had been lied to for about 3 years and had been told multiple times that she only had months to live. So from then on, I was forced to live with knowing she was faking cancer. Seeing all the victims being taken advantage of broke my heart. I was there with them, creating her perfect image of a perfect family with a sick mom. Yeah, I think that's why they wanted to have full custody, to have a more sympathetic picture of like, we have two, or like she had 2 boys, and then maybe wanted another daughter. I don't know, wanted an older kid to have around. Was like, oh, we have this blended family and we just love everybody. We do, more sympathetic. Like the more kids, the more money that they would be able to say they needed from strangers. I couldn't help but feel like I was helping them, accepting donations, meals, my free tennis lessons, gymnastics lessons, Christmas gifts, and so on. It broke me, loving and caring about all the people who were being robbed and being part of it. After moving back with my mom when I was 13, I thought Amanda couldn't get to me anymore. I was wrong. She ended up threatening my relationship with my little brothers unless I continued to believe she had cancer. She would tell me she wasn't in any trouble and blamed the whole story on my mom. She told me that the path I was going down wouldn't lead me anywhere and would try to make me feel worthless, all because I refused to believe her lies. Yeah, it sounds like classic manipulation to me. I could go on for hours about Amanda and all of the horrible things she has done, but what it boils down to is this. To this day, she is still threatening my relationship with my brothers. She attempted to ruin my relationship with my mother, ruin my relationship with my father, and has painted me as a liar. Amanda has affected me in more ways than anybody knows. I have been depressed for years. I have severe anxiety. I have a hard time sleeping at night. My hair is falling out from severe stress. The irony of that. My hair is falling out from severe stress, and some days I can't physically function because of how bad she has scared me or scarred me. This is my life now. I hope to heal one day. It's going to take time and patience, but that is my goal. And it is my hope, Your Honor, that you can truly understand the pain this woman has caused to not only me, but to every single person involved. This case runs so much deeper than money, and it's time that Amanda truly understands that herself. Whew. All right. Okay, last witness. And then I think there's a statement from Amanda as well, where she's going to speak for herself, I think, in this document. This is Lisa Berry. Now, Lisa Berry is the original whistleblower. She's the one who, she put 2 and 2 together when Amanda came to her house and was swimming in her pool, and Amanda had a little Band-Aid behind her ear. And Lisa asked about it and said, why do you have a Band-Aid? And she said, oh, this morning, they always like go so extreme. This morning I was at the hospital and they were draining fluid from my brain. So obviously that seems like a pretty, I would imagine, involved procedure, which would probably lead to some at least grogginess or possibly a stay at the hospital more than, just some morning catch-up routine and a tiny Band-Aid. And she was going under the water, which if you know anything about water, there's pressure. And like if you had a hole in your brain, you probably wouldn't want to go underwater immediately. So Lisa asked her friend, who was a doctor, about that and said, is that something that would happen? And the friend was like, absolutely not. Like, there's no way a woman who actually got fluid drained from her brain would be swimming in a pool 4 hours later with no fear in the world. So that's who this is. So she's the first one who really, I guess, called her out publicly and got in contact with the journalist. Okay. So here it goes. This is Lisa Berry. This case is about Amanda faking a cancer diagnosis since June 2012. June 2012 is when Amanda had announced to her family, friends, and the world that she was just diagnosed with cancer after giving birth to her first child. She shared an extensive medical blog for many years detailing her cancer fight. Amanda Riley came into our lives in 2010, a full 2 years before she publicly claimed that she had been diagnosed with cancer. The relationship started through the friendship of my daughter and Amanda's stepdaughter. The girls were in the 3rd grade, and Amanda and her husband Corey charmed their way into our lives very quickly. We became friends and spent a great deal of time together for a year. During our time as friends, we were told many things by Amanda and Corey Riley that I believed to be true until we felt information did not add up. And it finally led to the complete breakdown in our friendship when I confronted Amanda Riley about the lies they had told us. During the time of our friendship, Amanda told us that she was a PhD student at Stanford studying clinical psychology. Again. Why lie about this? Why? That's where it is a disease. I really think a disorder, a personality disorder that's beyond scam and scheme, like a con man thing. It's like a disorder because this doesn't make sense. Why they all go to this extreme, like, oh yes, I'm in Harvard also. Like, you know, that's gonna raise a red flag for a lot of people. Oh yeah, you have cancer, you're doing all this stuff, and you're also getting your PhD at like a very prestigious university. Anyways, happens all the time. Okay. And it continues. I haven't heard this detail before either. She told us that they own their home. They did not. So she was renting. She said she owned it. She told me she was childhood classmates with a famous actress, and they took dance classes together. They did not. I wonder who the famous actress she said was. I'm curious. But nothing could prepare me for what she could lie about. Cancer. That's right. 2 years before she publicly claimed to be first diagnosed, she told me and my husband that she had cancer. A couple of months into our friendship, again, this was in 2012. So 2012, she comes out to the world, but in 2010, she had already told this group, I guess, and this woman and her husband that she already had it. So red flag number 1 million. In 2010, I told Amanda about this wonderful fundraiser that took place for a family at school. The father had brain cancer, and I spoke about how the community raised over $100,000 for this family. Big mistake. The very next morning, Amanda Riley told me that she had cancer and that she was undergoing chemotherapy treatment and that she would not be able to have children. To say I was shocked is an understatement, as we had been friends for several months and this was the first time I was hearing of her diagnosis. I felt terrible for her, so young and dealing with so much. I found myself in tears thinking about this young woman planning her wedding, going to Stanford, and all the while fighting cancer. I was so saddened by it. My husband was also sad for them because he had lost his first wife to cancer and was devastated for Amanda and Corey because he knew what fighting cancer was like. Amanda and Corey also knew about my husband's first wife's passing after a 9-year battle. We had made ourselves available to help every time we were asked. My husband talked to me about how we would need to be there for Corey and help him through the pain of seeing his wife so sick, and it would be overwhelming and very hard for them. My husband knew what it was like, and he just wanted to help. Very quickly, we were helping Amanda with her stepdaughter, picking her up from school because Amanda told us she was in the hospital, driving her to school because Amanda was too sick from chemotherapy to get out of bed, watching Jessa overnight because Amanda needed Corey by her side at the hospital for overnight tests. So where were they? On date night? What was going on? Are they swingers? Like, I feel like there's something going on that is like a separate side plot that we're not getting the details to, because why would they want to be away? Like, where were they then during this if they couldn't pick up their daughter who they say that they want full custody of? Something's not adding up. Then something changed. All of the cancer talk seemed to fade a bit as Amanda and Corey planned their wedding. It seemed like several months went by with no need for help with her cancer schedule. I found it odd, but also thought she probably wanted to focus on the happiness ahead, and I could understand that. When they returned from their honeymoon, they started talking about her cancer again. So all the money's gone, I guess, now that they raised the first time, and now they're like, well, we need more money. Okay, start up the talk again. Then came August 24th, 2011, my birthday. Amanda and Corey came to my birthday party, and Corey was telling my husband and another friend how sick Amanda had been, and she didn't think she would make it to the party. He said Amanda had been quite ill. He told them she now had stage 4 cancer and only months to live. My husband was devastated to hear this. He had been through this before, and he knew how excruciating and painful this would be for them. It really brought back so much past pain for him. I was equally devastated. Again, this husband, in my humble opinion, ain't innocent at all. He seems very complicit and part of the scheme, if not the mastermind perhaps of it, or at least part of it. Shortly after my birthday, she asked me for money for blood tests she needed so she could live. We gave her the needed money. Within a couple days, she posted glamorous photos of herself taken by a professional photographer. I became suspicious that the money I had given her was used to pay for this photo shoot. A few days later, she showed up at her home to pick up her stepdaughter, who I was watching, because Amanda had been in the hospital. Again, where was she actually? What was going on at this point? I'm curious. After telling me she had fluid drained from her brain that same day, she proceeded to swim in my pool, fully underwater. This just didn't make sense to me, and I started questioning everything. The more I thought about their situation, the more I thought, why isn't her family here? She's terminally ill and her parents and siblings are not coming around to help be with her. I knew they were close. I met them at the wedding, and I couldn't imagine them not being there for Amanda and Corey. Things weren't sitting right with me, so I decided to do some research on things she had told me that were easy to identify. For instance, Stanford did not have a clinical psychology PhD program. Like, why make up that lie? It makes no sense. I also found the recent Craigslist listing for the rental house that the Rileys had just moved into that Amanda told me they had purchased with the help of her parents. I kept ignoring her calls, hoping she would take the hint and just go away, until I realized I would have to confront her with the truth in order to get rid of these people. The next time she called, I answered. Amanda immediately told me she was pregnant. I said, I thought you were dying. I thought you were dying. And she actually had the nerve to tell me the pregnancy had reversed the disease, or was reversing the disease. She's such a God has his favorites, you know? Ugh. He bestows miracles upon those who need the most money, I guess. So she's saying she not only got a miracle baby, or is pregnant, which is shocking if you're going through chemotherapy and have cancer, but not only is that a miracle, it's also fixing her terminal illness, which is not how anything works. Okay, I had enough. I demanded to know the name of her oncologist, and the name she gave me didn't exist. I demanded she return the money we had given her, and I told her of the research I had done that exposed all the lies they had been telling us. I blocked her and Corey's phones from calling me and never talked with either of them again. We were so angry that someone would actually lie about having cancer. My husband was hurt and speechless that our friends could perpetrate such a disgusting lie, that this couple with whom we were friends, a man who my husband stood up for at his wedding, were capable of such a con. They knew what my husband had been through, and they manipulated our emotions to get what they wanted, attention and money. Yeah, that's really messed up, obviously. I thought I would never hear about Amanda and Corey Riley again, but that wasn't the case. Years later, I learned that Amanda and Corey were at it again, now pretending to be diagnosed in 2012, a full 2 years after telling us that she was terminally ill in 2010. Amanda was faking cancer and scamming on an even larger scale. My husband and I were revolted to learn that this was happening all over again. We will be forever disgusted when we think about the manipulation Amanda and Corey put us through, along with so many others. I felt it was important that I speak out today on behalf of myself and my husband, because even after being confronted in 2011 about faking cancer, Amanda didn't feel ashamed about what she had done. Rather, she honed her story and escalated it to another level of greed. And I believe if she had not given a big enough deterrence, she will do it again, because that's exactly what she did after I confronted her. Your Honor, I trust your wisdom, and I hope that you will assign an extensive sentence on Amanda Riley for the crime she has committed. Okay. So there you go. Again, good work. Okay, so this, I believe, is the lawyer for Amanda Riley is now speaking. Let me see. Read the victim statements. Okay, the judge is saying he's gonna sentence her. It's a strange case. Okay, she accepts full responsibility. She acknowledges that she's guilty and that she knows it's serious. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, did write letters. Okay, so some people gave like character witnesses in support of Amanda. It says, as the court knows, several individuals did write letters for Miss Riley, her family, including former colleagues, all of whom are aware of the offense conduct. She's described as someone who is clearly capable of positively contributing to her community and to her family. In what world? I mean, I guess, yeah, as long as she sticks down the path of truth, which seems to be extremely difficult for her, she seems like she could be successful because she became a principal with like seemingly no experience. She was involved in her church. She seems to have a lot of friends and can speak very well on stage and convincingly, but I don't think she's capable of being honest. So that's obviously throws everything else into the garbage. Again, Your Honor, I think that's what makes this case strange in so many ways, is that Miss Riley had an opportunity to embark on what appears to have been a pretty successful career in education. That's, of course, been destroyed and won't be rejuvenated despite her positive contributions in that field. She's also the caring mother of 2 young boys, both of whom will obviously be severely impacted by today's proceedings for some time to come. My understanding is they very much rely on her for their caretaking needs and for their schooling. Send your kids to school. Get them away from her. And I think it's important to account for. So he's trying, I don't know if it's her or he, is trying to now get the judge to give a more lenient sentence because, oh, she's a mother. Oh my God, she's got kids and her husband's useless, apparently. There's obviously mental health issues. Yes, we can agree with that. That run quite deeply. I think in this case and other health issues. Miss Riley obviously did not have cancer. She does not have cancer, but there are these conditions. And I won't go into those, but they are referenced in the report. And the reality is, I think an extensive prison term is going to be more difficult for someone who has conditions of that sort, as opposed to someone who is in excellent or otherwise good health. Okay, I don't know what they're saying she has. I'm assuming factitious disorder. I'm guessing Munchausen's. I don't know. Doesn't say. Okay, I'm just going through it, blah, blah, blah. She wants to go to Austin. She's currently in California, prison, like a facility that's kind of like a lower impact. And I know that because, one second, this is her inmate finder, federal prison inmate finder. And she is 39 and she's located at Long Beach RRM, which ironically is called Terminal Island. So she went from terminal to terminal. Low security federal correctional institution. And this is in Los Angeles. So if you want to go hang out outside and wave to her in the window, you can do that. Don't do it, but you could, theoretically. Okay, let's see. Now, is she going to speak here? Okay, the defendant. Here is Amanda Riley's statement, okay? Your Honor, there aren't enough words to adequately express how horrific I feel and how sorry I am that this happened. My heart aches every day thinking that I did something that hurt other people. This is the worst thing I've ever done and the worst mistake I could have made. Well, let's hope so, because the bar is pretty high here. I don't sleep well at night because this haunts me daily. I can't even look at myself in the mirror without feeling ashamed, and I'm so sorry. I mean, that's good. Looking back and recognizing that I hurt a lot of people crushes me, and it has for a really long time now. I have been dealing with the repercussions of this for years. I threw away my dream career, lost all my friends and family. I went from being a nobody to being negatively covered in dozens of tabloids and news articles. Okay. I'm paranoid. I'm being followed all the time, and I'm too scared to open social media messages for fear of what they will say and the hurtful things that people have said to me. You made your bed, girl. Come on. You made your bed, now sleep in it. crazy talk. She's the true victim here because people are mean to her on social media. Give me a break. Until today, I have never publicly addressed this, and it's time I step forward and be accountable to try to right this wrong. I'm here to accept responsibility and humbly accept my consequences as the first step of showing everyone I want to make this right. And I will say, this is good. She could have easily said, this is all a conspiracy, which apparently is kind of what she's saying behind the scenes, but she could have also said that in court. So the fact she is taking responsibility is admirable. But the bar is low, but it is admirable that she at least is being honest, so it seems now. But like I said, hold your horses. I will spend the rest of my life working toward the amends for the hurt that I have caused. I want to publicly apologize to all the victims in this case, specifically the church and those who participated or helped with fundraising, to all the kind, loving people who helped us. I ask that you not be deterred from your servant's heart because of my mistake. Please continue to help those in need. I want to apologize to my family. Corey, my husband, he knows. He don't need no apology. Okay, in my opinion. My parents, my brothers, our best friends that we consider family, and our kids. Our lives will never be the same because of my choices, and I'm so sorry for that. Jessa, my bonus daughter, I hope this brings you the closure and clarity you have been seeking. I'm so sorry you were in the dark for what was truly happening for so long. You had to walk through this, and it breaks my heart to know I hurt you. I do love you and always have loved you like you were my own. There is nothing I can do or say to make this better for you except to promise through my actions that I will work each day for the rest of my life to rebuild our relationship from the hurt I have caused you, and I hope one day we can get there. I mean, that is what you want to hear as a victim, honestly. Our 2 young boys were babies when this started, so they were too little to be affected by my bad choices. I disagree. And Corey and I have worked so hard to protect and shelter them from this so they could live normal lives. I doubt that as well. Now to see them as big boys who are going to see their mom go through this process is going to flip their world upside down. Being a good mom is what I have always wanted most in this world. Second to money and attention from strangers. And it's my job to love and protect them. So it breaks my heart most of all that the reason they are going to be hurt and not see their mom every day is because of me. It's very meta. I humbly write this to you as a way of accountability, a first step to try to right a terrible wrong, and I promise to spend the rest of my life working to better myself. I promise I will spend the rest of my life spent helping others and not hurting them. Thank you. Okay, there you go. So then she was sentenced to 22 months or something like that. She's supposed to get out on December 4th of this year, 2025. It was in 2026, but I think it did get reduced, I guess, at some point. So she's supposed to get out then. However, she believes after that whole thing was made, the court case was, she was sentenced, blah, blah, blah. She believed that she should get out early, compassionate release. And she believes she deserves this because of her, guess what? Medical condition. Okay? So she's back at it again with the white vans. She's got medical problems, allegedly, and therefore deserves to be released early. So some things never change, right? Okay. So this is written by her, Amanda Riley's defendant. No, sorry, what am I talking about? Her public defender. There you go. She's the defendant. So they're basically writing on her behalf that she should be let out early. She's paid her dues to society. She needs a compassionate release because she's ill. Okay, and here's the reasons why. This is the argument. The government argues that Amanda Riley should be denied a sentence reduction because, in its opinion, she is just pretending to be sick. Yet, her medical records, including those submitted as exhibits by the government, extensively document her ongoing medical conditions. The government urges the court to ignore this objective medical evidence because doctors have attributed some of her medical problems to factitious disorder, which is another word for Munchausen. So having the thought that you are sick or wanting to prove to people you are sick when you know you don't actually have these things. Assuming this diagnosis is correct, Ms. Riley suffers from an extremely serious disorder that the Bureau of Prisons has failed to treat. I mean, can you treat it? I don't think there is a treatment other than therapy to move past that if you really have it, factitious disorder. And even if Ms. Riley suffers from factitious disorder, this does not change the fact that she also suffers from several other long-term medical conditions. The only way to ensure that Ms. Riley receives the necessary medical and psychiatric care is to reduce her sentence to time served. Alternatively, the court should reduce her sentence to 47 months pursuant to Amendment 821. Probation recommends a reduction, and the government concedes that Ms. Riley is eligible for one. When the court was sentenced, her guideline was 12 to 18 months. The court varied upward to 60 months, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Here's the argument. Extraordinary and compelling reasons for release exist when the prison's failure to provide long-term or specialized medical care puts an inmate at risk of serious deterioration in health or death. The government contends that Ms. Riley cannot satisfy this requirement because, in its opinion, there is nothing wrong with her. Seems pretty clear. You know, you cannot get out of prison because you have a fake boo-boo in your mind. Sorry. The government argues that Ms. Riley's medical conditions are poorly documented and that she does not actually suffer from any acute health problems at all. And they're quoting different parts of different reports, but it says, these medical conditions, even if they existed, would be neither extraordinary nor compelling. And then the lawyer is arguing, all of these assertions are belayed by her medical records. And then the second argument. As an initial matter, the government fails to explain why, if Miss Riley has no real health problems, she has medical hold that prevents her from going to the satellite camp, okay, or why the prison has consistently designated her as a Care 3 level inmate, a designation reserved for inmates with complex and usually chronic medical or mental health conditions. Even before she went into custody, Ms. Riley was in poor health and suffers from numerous medical conditions. Which ones? Because the cancer was not real. So which conditions does she actually have? I'm curious. These conditions were documented in her report. Since entering custody, these conditions have worsened, which is extensively documented in the medical records that compromise the government's own exhibits. These records reflect that she suffers from multiple active problems, including, okay, here we go, supraventricular tachycardia, okay, anxiety, leukemoid reaction, electrolyte imbalance, and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I don't know any of these. Does anyone know what these are? Are they legit or what? Her lab test results consistently show multiple abnormal values. Okay, according to the ER doctors, her labs are concerning for severe hypolacemia, hypomagnesemia, and hypophatemia. And they indicate that Ms. Riley is at high risk for life-threatening condition due to chest pain sinus tachycardia. I don't know. It's like, you know, if she's at the hospital all the time, then she's good. They're covering it. They're not keeping her in her cell, and not, if they're doing tests on her constantly, why does she need to be released? Faced with objective evidence of these medical conditions, the government seeks to minimize them by suggesting that Ms. Riley is intentionally causing her symptoms. Well, that would be in line with her past. In support of this allegation, the government relies on 3 pages of medical records out of the several thousand pages. The government, several thousand pages of medical records from prison. She's only been there for like a year. The first page contains an assertion from Dr. Bryant during her April 17th, 2023 emergency room visit that obviously the patient has distressed her body to create the tachycardia. So that's what the doctor said. Dr. Bryant does not explain how Ms. Riley's accomplished this, nor is there any explanation apparent from the record. The only basis for Dr. Bryant's obvious conclusion appears to be the information that he uncovered while searching the internet for information about her conviction. Okay, so he's saying she must have caused this from something. I believe that because it doesn't make sense, and I looked up her case, and it seems like she's lied about medical stuff before. That's what I'm hearing from this. Okay, the second page contains a nurse's accusation that during the same April emergency room visit in 2023, Ms. Riley was holding her breath, although this supposed conduct does not appear to have had any effect on her test results. So she's purposely holding her breath to make it seem like she's got less oxygen, I guess, is the accusation. The third page contains an assertion from Dr. Bryant that during an earlier visit in April 2023, the patient was found manipulating the pump for potassium. The patient was found manipulating the pump for potassium. Interesting. It appears that this refers to an incident where Ms. Riley tried to pause the potassium pump because it was burning. Sketchy. The nurse explained to Ms. Riley that touching the pump while it is running is dangerous and told her that in the future she should ask for help. The nurse's note does not refer to manipulating or contain any suggestion that Ms. Riley was trying to interfere with her treatment. Even if these incidences, all of which purportedly occurred during a single hospital visit, are viewed in the worst possible light, they cannot explain why Ms. Riley's multiple ongoing medical problems. Okay. As the government notes, multiple doctors have opined that Ms. Riley's symptoms are the result of factitious disorder, again, Munchausen's. This is perhaps unsurprising given the easily accessed public information about her conviction. Assuming, however, that this diagnosis is correct, Ms. Riley is suffering from a serious mental health disorder, whose complications can include injury or death from self-inflicted medical conditions, severe health problems from infections, and loss of organs or limbs from unnecessary surgery. Okay, I get his argument, but at the same time, the last point was like, oh no, she is sick. And then the third point is, well, if she has factitious disorder, she's going to cause herself to get even sicker, therefore release her regardless. It's like, I'm not really understanding the thought process here fully. Okay, and it talks about they can't control their behavior, blah, blah, blah. Yet nowhere in Miss Riley's thousands of pages of medical records is there any indication that she has received psychotherapy, CBT therapy, or any other form of therapy for factitious disorder or for her other diagnosed mental health conditions, which includes depressive disorder, anxiety, unspecified mood disorder, and PTSD. Instead, her few contacts with psychiatrists have been limited to prescription reviews. But, I mean, I think she should have therapy in prison. I agree. But I don't know what the rules are of how that works. Okay, let's see. So they're saying that she does have this factitious, and they want a reduction of her sentence. Okay, this is now talking about the Scamanda podcast / docuseries. In her motion, Ms. Riley argued that she is unlikely to pose any future danger to the community because her case has received widespread media attention. The ease with which people can find information about her conviction is evident from Dr. Bryant's internet search. Far from fading over time, the publicity surrounding her case has only intensified. And I agree with that. ABC recently announced that its fall television lineup will include Scamanda, a docuseries based on the #1 podcast of the same name, Scamanda. The government's opposition fails to address the important deterrent effect of this ongoing media coverage. So they're saying she can't scam anymore. She's famous. She can't scam the way she scammed previously. And with that, I say, have you heard of the guy that started Firefest? He went to prison, and he's back out doing Firefest 2 scamming. So I think it's definitely possible. Like last time, I was lying. This time, though, I truly have this illness. And would I lie? A second time? That's unlikely. Lightning doesn't strike twice. Please donate today. Anyways. So that's that. So then they're showing other people who have gotten their sentences reduced, like other inmates, and why and how that's relevant to this case. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So she wants to be let out, reduced to 47 months. Okay. And I believe this is the reaction from the judge, if I'm not mistaken. This thing. Let me see. This is a recap of what happened, her battle with cancer, blah, blah, blah. Which one is it? This one? Okay, yeah. Here's the reaction. Okay, so Amanda Riley is serving a 5-year prison sentence for faking cancer to collect donations for fabricated medical expenses. Defendant, Amanda, is now claiming new medical maladies, seeks a reduction in sentence to time served. All right, so this is the response. And then it's talking about, again, the Twitter, the blog, the deception, the stealing of $100,000. She pled guilty, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now here we go to the current day stuff. As of January 22nd, 2024, so a year ago, about a year and a month, Amanda's medical records establish a broad range of claimed medical issues, including but not limited to polyneuropathy, pulmonary embolism, cardiac arrhythmia, asthma, sleep terrors, this is like a new list, hypotension, fusion of spine, interstitial pulmonary disease, abnormal uterine and vaginal bleeding, and tachycardia. Okay, so it seems like a different list than previously. Maybe they're the same names, different, or same thing, different names, but okay. All right, hold on. Amanda is most often taken to the emergency room for tachycardia, which is increased heart rate. She's been treated for chronic hypokalemia, which is potassium deficiency, and hypomagnesemia, which is magnesium deficiency. Okay, so I think that what they're trying to say here is like she's being treated in the emergency room, but they're actually not that big of a deal. Am I getting that right? She's also been treated for various mood and mental health disorders, such as unspecified mood disorder, anxiety, and PTSD. Amanda's medical providers regularly note a substantial gap between her claimed symptoms and what they medically observe. Okay, so there's some redacted stuff because I'm assuming HIPAA laws. Defendant's behavior and symptoms have led her doctors to believe with increasing confidence that she may suffer from Munchausen syndrome. Okay, so it says Amanda's medical records contain evidence of her taking intentional steps to interfere with her testing and treatment. It says that Amanda intentionally stressed her body to create a heart rate over 100 beats per minute. It's redacted, but it said the defendant was observed holding her breath during an oxygen saturation test to affect the test results. And then again, the defendant attempted to manipulate an infusion pump administering potassium. Amanda repeatedly requested or demanded pain medication, including explicit requests for powerful narcotics when complaining of chest pains. Okay. This is the part I feel like this is kind of newsworthy. All right. This is like the if you take away anything from this stream, this is it. In her first 18 months of custody, okay, Amanda was taken by ambulance to an off-site hospital 24 times. That is more than once a month. That's like almost twice a month, basically. Every month she's going to the hospital in an ambulance with something, with potassium levels. That's crazy. The fact that that's costing taxpayers money, though, is infuriating because she's just screwing the system to, they have to take you. If you say you have some medical issues, they're going to take you to the hospital because they don't want to be, well, I shouldn't say that they should. Legally, they should do that, so that they aren't sued at the very least because they're saying, oh, you're faking it. If you say you have certain things, they'll take you and then let the doctors deal with it. But can you believe that? 24 times in 18 months she went to the hospital for something. It's crazy. She had been housed in the general population of the prison and had requested transfer to the satellite camp where inmates with low securities are housed, but she was denied due to a medical hold. Okay. So then it's the legal standard. She's asking for compassionate release. However, they don't think that she qualifies for that. Okay, they're talking about that discussion. Okay. Exhaust. She could still do other things other than compassionate release. Blah blah blah. This is just a lot of like law talk. Okay, this part. Amanda argues that extraordinary and compelling reasons consistent with the applicable policy statement warrant a reduction to time served. Carswell, which I guess is the facility that she's at, is not equipped to provide Ms. Riley with the medical care required for her complex medical conditions. She notes that she has been transported to the local hospital 24 times and argues the frequency of hospital visits alone indicates inadequate treatment. She also questions why she hasn't been treated on site at Carson and why she, despite being categorized as care level 3, is not housed in the chronic care unit. And she says that she's received inadequate mental health treatment. Well, I would agree with that. So it seems that she hasn't had any therapy. That seems crazy. And then the government says the motion is necessarily vague about which medical conditions or conditions it relies upon. The government also argues that Amanda's other documented illnesses, such as hypokalemia and tachycardia, are not extraordinary or compelling, and says Amanda does not challenge the quality of her medical treatment. The government also questions Amanda's veracity and cites extensive examples of her feigning sickness or intentionally interfering with treatment. Finally, the government argues that Amanda's interest in securing more desirable housing within the prison is evidence that she is not at any risk of serious deterioration in health or death. Okay, so then there's a bunch of other stuff they're talking about. As an initial matter, Amanda's history of feigning illness for personal gain, combined with a chorus of skepticism from the medical professionals treating her, raises serious questions about her credibility. But regardless of credibility, she claims medical conditions are not extraordinary or compelling such that they warrant release. Okay, talking about what she thinks she has. She's got a fictitious disorder as well. Okay. Just repeating it. Sorry. Okay, I'm reading these things. Concerned factors. So they don't think that she should get the time served, basically, is the rest of this. And she says that she doesn't think she'd be Amanda addresses the first two factors. She says that she doesn't pose a danger to the community because she's so popular or so, in the media. And it says the government argues that the court already addressed each of those factors at the sentencing. Okay, and then the judge at the time said, I do find the public to be at significant risk from you. I do believe this will happen again. Being confronted with your lies seem to be no deterrent whatsoever, and therefore I find the public to continue to be at risk from your continued fraud. So she did not get the requested early release for time served. And I don't know where that paperwork is, but that was denied. So there is justice somewhat, but she will be getting out in 6 months? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. In 10 months, she'll be out. So there you go. And that was a lot of reading. And I wish there was more videos, but they really did scrub a lot of the videos from the internet, so it seems. What do we all think? That was quite a lot. And that is the thing that I feel like is most interesting, is the updates from prison, that she's gone to the hospital so many times. It doesn't seem, again, the outstanding things to me, where's Corey in all of this? What he apparently is divorced or is divorcing Amanda. He lives in Texas now with their kids. What is his involvement? Because I don't think he's innocent, personally. doesn't seem to add up to me. Well, he was involved in all of this. He was there in the house. So how did the daughter, who's like 13, figure it out, but he couldn't? Sketchy. What she's going to do when she gets out? How is she going to act? Is she going to go into hiding? Is she going to become a influencer? What's going to happen? I'm curious. She seems to have like a, addiction, not really an addiction, but like, an interest in getting attention from the public and getting money. She'll be on TLC or something. Let's see her on TLC. My scamming life, my 600-pound scam. And I'll be watching because, I watch all those shows because I'm part of the problem, essentially. And then that's it, really. I guess those are my two big standouts of like why this is so interesting, I believe. I mean, is she going to pay the money back, I guess? I don't think so. I think most people are not going to get their money back. Like in the government paperwork, there was, a list of like every person that had donated, like up to, 10 people who gave $10, people who gave thousands of dollars. Does she actually have to do that? Will the court uphold that and make her pay back? From what we've seen with OJ, they did. I mean, this is criminal versus civil, but when he had to pay, he just didn't. So I don't know. If you don't have money, you can just say I don't have money, and then everyone, like the victims are kind of like, well, SOL. I think. I don't really know how that works. I'm curious to know how that works more. Like if you are sentenced to pay restitution and pay back your victims, like is there a payment plan? Like how does that work? Someone tell me. Anyways, I forgot to get to you. I'm so sorry. Hawkbit2a. I love that username. Hawkbit37. Thank you so much. Hawkbit37 says, I just want to make fun of my name again. Okay. Well, I did it. I didn't even realize. Hawkbit2a. Thank you so much. That was perfect. Okay, I love it. And for that I say...
I do number 2.
I love selling stuff online.
You're not freaking fine.
You're not freaking fine. This is what I think. Hawk2a bit 37.
Lord Voldemort.
Lord Voldemort. I'm sweating. I'm hot. I'm parched. I need more magnesium. Send me $1 million, please. Okay, well, I hope that was semi-interesting. I was thinking about next week as a possible topic, and let me know what you think, your thoughts are, to talk about this new law in California about vlogging families where they have to, it's so horrible for these poor families. They have to give their children who are working a trust to have some money for later because they are literally laboring. But the parents do not want to pay their own children their government required amounts, thanks to this law that they're now moving states. So I love this. I think this is a wonderful step forward. I'm very glad that California is doing this for these vlogging children who are, gonna end up needing therapy forever. At least this is getting their therapy fund set up. But it is so funny that people are fleeing the state to make sure they can avoid paying their own children what they deserve. It's so crazy. So wholesome of family values, I find. So I was thinking about that one, and just talking about the law, talking about some of the families that are choosing to flee. So let me know what you think. I'm also open to other ideas. But I'm definitely going to be here on Thursday. Again, consistency. What? Oh, also... one thing to note, I predict that Matthew McConaughey is going to come out with a AI self-help course. I'm working on figuring out if that is true. I think I have stumbled across some information that may or may not make it semi-clear that that is his intentions, but I'm going to watch and see. So stay tuned for that, and don't tell the Matthew McConaughey people because I want to scoop the story. But that is forthcoming. All right, everybody, let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching, and I'm going to sing my song now. Goodbye. Peace. Starry nights in the sky, like a rocket ship flying by. You are so high on my list. Nicole Campbell. I wanna go to the casino to gamble. I'll put $1 million on you a console. I bet you would win all the dollars. Chels Marie could make you and me rich, rich, rich. Millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, Alaska Blue Tundra. That's how much money you get from the government for having to live in Alaska. Isn't that true? Alaska Blue Tundra's like, what? I don't get $1 million trillion for living here. Well, I heard otherwise. I heard that you get a check for living in the cold. What the heck? That's pretty cool. Kara Soto. What do you think about this? It's so loco. Lisa B. I skinned my little knee, and now it's gushing all over the place. Need to go to the hospital. Fast pace. Like I'm Amanda Riley. She is so based. Lillian Massey. I wanna suck on a passy. Like a little baby. Chris Johnson. You wanna join maybe? Haha! I'm just kidding. That's weird. Rob Sheehan. Do you have a beard? I'm really curious. Rob Sheehan. Do you have a beard? Rebelade Fuentes. Do you have a mustache or do you have any other facial hair? I've been accused of having a mustache many times on this channel. And maybe I do. But maybe it's also a weird discoloration that I can't do anything about. Mary, what do you think about my situary? Do you have any face wash tips? Then I can wash my mustache away. I don't wanna have a mustache that goes gray, but I don't wanna be locked into having to wax it. I guess I'll just give up and cry. Whoa. Okay. Thank you. Good night.